Corn refuge acres. It's been a hot topic among farmers for the last few years because, as most farmers look at it, they have to give up yield. They literally have to let bugs that they know are going to damage their crop feed on that crop. It's
crazy.
Terrible.
You are crazy, Brian.
No, I'm not.
This is the problem with refuge acres.
The whole purpose of refuge acres is to leave some bugs out there so they don't develop resistance. I don't believe in that concept, but
this is crazy. We had some farmers from the Ukraine come over to tour our farm just a couple of summers ago. And we're driving down a gravel road and we're just a few miles away from our farm. And one of the guys says, "Stop the van, stop the van." And so we stopped the van and I was like, what's going on? What do you see out here? I figured there must be something. And I was thinking, maybe he saw a deer or he saw some pheasants or something. No, he saw a cornfield and he looked out there and he said, "I don't understand what's going on. There's strips of corn in this field that look terrible. What's happening out in that field?" And I said, "Oh, those are refuge acres." And I explained the whole concept of refuge, that you need to have some acres without the BT trait out there so a certain population of the bugs can exist. And he said, "Man, we think we're here to learn about your agriculture so we can do what you guys do. This seems dumb. I don't understand why you would let some of the acres go." And I told him, "You know what? It is dumb. There's no point at all in letting those insects go." Now, I'm not suggesting that you don't plant a refuge. What I'm suggesting is that you treat that refuge with insecticide. Why would you let those bugs kill 20% of your crop? That's nuts.
Well, it is nuts. I'll just tell you, on our farm, we do abide by the 20% refuge rules because legally we have to. So we go out there and plant 20% of our acres to non-BT corn. But where we do that is around the end rows. We know exactly where we have to go back and spray later. It's easy to get back in there to spray. And we're killing every bug on our farm. I mean, every bug needs to die on our farm. That's just the way we feel about it. Right, every harmful insect. So we're going after those things. We just want to make sure that we know exactly where to go to. It just doesn't make any sense to us to allow bugs to feed and damage your crop, because not only do you have that insect feeding damage and the yield loss there, but also disease can get into your plant. So depending on the year and depending on what disease it is, you might suffer major yield loss from the disease that enters in after the bug feeds.
Okay, let's talk about a couple of big things going on in the refuge business. There's one seed company out there marketing some refuge in the bag, where they're mixing 20% of the seed in the bag is non-traded, just like straight Roundup, and the rest of it has BT traits for rootworm and corn borer, and it's crazy. It's a disaster out in the fields. I saw some trials in 2008 out in the field where they did 20% refuge in the bag. Man, just imagine 20% of your corn falling over. Imagine 20% of your corn not yielding. Why in the world would you do that on purpose, and how in the world can you treat that? You would have to treat the whole field, so 80% of the acres that now you didn't have to treat for rootworm, you didn't have to treat for corn borer, you're out spraying for those things. It seems like a lot of wasted money and horrible crop management.
Yep, so refuge in a bag, as far as we're concerned, you should not do it on your farm.
At 20%, it's absolutely crazy.
Right.
Now, with the new Smart Stacks trait that Dow and Monsanto are working on, they have filed a petition with the EPA for 5% refuge. So they want just 5% of the acres now that they've stacked up multiple BT traits to avoid resistance issues out in the field. This makes a little bit more sense than the 20% refuge does. I did see some 5% refuge in the bag test this year in the field, and it didn't look horrible. But still, I don't understand why you would do this.
Ringing endorsement there, dear.
I don't understand this. Just plant the refuge the way it's intended. Put some acres around on one end of the field or around the outside end rows of the field, and then treat those. It's really easy to do. Just put some insecticide in at planting time and come back later on with an airplane when you're out spraying some headline or something already. Throw some insecticide in too and take care of that problem.
Yep, so as you can tell, we are pretty adamant about this refuge deal. If you're going to have refuge acres, treat them. You don't want to let the rootworm bugs or the corn borers feed on your plants, especially when we have high corn prices today. Now, sure, our corn prices may not be at record highs anymore, but they're still pretty high compared to our 30-year average. So why not take care of these problems and add some yield to your farm?
Well, whether it's in refuge acres or any acres on your farm, you definitely have to control our weed of the week. Can you identify it?